Here are 15 restaurant chains that may disappear by 2025. America's most beloved restaurant chains are hanging by a thread. Even the biggest names in the industry are fighting to survive while costs soar, sales plummet, and the consumer base becomes more cautious. Financial losses are piling up faster than a weekend rush, and once packed dining rooms stand eerily empty. Everything from poor management decisions to failed marketing campaigns cracks their foundation and is impossible to ignore. So even if you think your favorite dining spots are safe, they aren't. Some of these iconic chains might not last until 2025. Here's the shocking list of restaurants battling to stay afloat. 15. Red Lobster. Red Lobster is sinking in troubled waters, but they are certainly not the navigational kind that could get you to an all-you-can-eat seafood smorgasbord. A seafood giant once and famous for its famous buttery biscuits and endless shrimp promotions, the chain is now floundering financially. Seafood costs are climbing, fast seafood, especially lobster and shrimp, are cutting into profit margins as quickly as, well, a newly sharpened fillet knife. The parent company of Red Lobster, Thai Union, was forced to restructure its U.S. operations after reporting millions of dollars in losses for 2024, according to the Wall Street Journal. Prices have inched upward on even the simplest menu items, and middle-class families, once the backbone of their customer base, can no longer justify the expense. The endless promotions that have backfired, including the wildly popular endless shrimp deals, are also loss-making as much as up to $5 per customer, analysts estimate. Yet another compounding problem for them is the mediation of their market share by fast casual seafood concepts and getting fewer sight-down dinners during these financially uncertain times. For Red Lobster, it may be now or never. If they can't cut costs and remake their strategy to lure customers back, 2025 may see the end of the restaurant on America's dining scene. 14. Boston Market, loved for rotisserie chicken lovers. Boston Market remains on a slow and painful decline. The chain is known for hearty comfort food served family style, and they've been hit hard over the last few years. Forbes posted a scathing report that revealed some big legal battles, including accusing Timberland of wage theft and unsafe working conditions. Along with dwindling sales, it's been laid low by these lawsuits. In the meantime, with the rise of home meal delivery services and the crazy hot bars at grocery store, its business model seems out of date. What's the point in spending $20 on a family meal deal when the grocery store sells you essentially the same thing for less money and with more selection? More than 15% of Boston Market locations closed in 2024, a grim trend. Boston Market may have once been a disruptor in fast casual dining, but now it may be disrupted out of existence altogether. If the company cannot update its approach and reinstate the public's trust, this soon-to-be food's comfort pioneer may not make it to 2025. 13. Applebee's. But eating good in the neighborhood isn't really what it's all about for Applebee's. A one-time staple of casual dining, the chain has become emblematic of an industry in crises. Parked cars, front-dozing front doors, fading signage. It didn't take long for many Applebee's to start closing in 2024. Applebee's has taken a particular beating from high inflation. Among its core customer base, middle income, people are dining out less to save money. The chain, which once offered a 2 for $20 deal that made it a budget destination, is no longer that. The price has risen to as close to $25 as cost-conscious consumers can stomach in many places, and younger diners are increasingly avoiding traditional sit-down dining and preferring faster, trendier, and more modern fare. Applebee's has experimented with late-night deals, karaoke nights, and social media campaigns, but they have not resulted in the hoped-for results. The company claims it's not going anywhere, but the signs point otherwise. If Applebee's continued to lose money and customer loyalty were a trend, then soon it will join its fallen brethren as a flared-up photo on a TV screen of times gone by. 12th. Chili's made a show of how to sizzle a fajita and down a margarita, but its financial situation does not taste like that. Chipotle and similarly fast casual Mexican-inspired brands are doing battle with the chain on price and offer customizable meals at far more affordable price points. But Chili has been slow to adapt to the seismic shift in the way people eat, to the extent that it's now dangerously dependent on the dying sit-down dining experience in a world where takeout and delivery reign. While they've tried to modernize, bringing in robotic servers and simplified menus, rising food, labor, and utility costs have all been too much to overcome. Chili's parent company, Brinker International, reported the chain's profit margins declined to their lowest levels in decades in late 2024. Chili's is also quietly closing locations on its rural net, where there isn't enough customer traffic to sustain them profitably. Experts say, however, that drastic downsizing or even selling off some of the remaining outlets might be the only way to keep the brand alive through 2025. One of the casualties of the casual dining boom, its potential decline is emblematic of the end of an era for a chain. 11th, Buffalo Wild Wings. Once known for its sports fan base and love of wings, Buffalo Wild Wings is in a precarious spot. MarketWatch reports the chain is grappling with skyrocketing chicken wing prices, up more than 25% in the past year. To offset these costs, Buffalo Wild Wings increased its menu prices, but to no end as this skewed the entire strategy. When cheaper and often tastier wings are available at local places or even in your own kitchen, many loyal customers now balk at $20 for a dozen wings. Further complicated by the fact that an important revenue driver for the brand, alcohol sales, have plummeted. The chain struggles to attract new patrons mainly as the younger generation, for progressive and healthy eating lifestyle had left it trailing, and yet many franchise owners are reporting significant losses. Given dwindling consumers for their game day crowds and to fill their booths, analysts are postulating that Inspire Brands, Buffalo Wild Wings' parent company, could be posting locations for sale or closing them down altogether. 2025 could be the end of wings, beer, and sports synonymous with chain that refuses to adapt consumer tastes and exploding costs. 10. Subway. There was a time when Subway was synonymous with affordable sandwich made to order, and now it's at risk of losing its content to sandwich industry. But the sheer size of its operation is now seen as a liability, given its enormous global footprint. But franchisees are struggling under razor-thin margin profits and climbing overhead costs, with many operators suing in 2024. Business Insider reports some of these legal battles include accusations of exploitive lease terms and demands that stores spend huge sums on mandated store refreshes. Subway has also suffered from a falling reputation with customers at the same time. You can find complaints aplenty across social media about inconsistent portion sizes and the use of highly processed ingredients. They're attempting to rebrand, with items like freshly sliced deli meats billed as premium. But most consumers have seen these efforts for what they are, half measures with no sincerity attached. Subway has even introduced delivery services and tried to modernize, but it's not been enough to stem the bleeding. The chain closed hundreds of locations worldwide just in 2024. Without a dramatic overhaul of its business model, the brand may continue to shrink until it eventually fades into the past. 9. TGI Fridays. Once the proud home to boisterous happy hours and boozy celebration meals, TGI Fridays is losing its edge in a highly populated casual dining segment. In a 2024 restaurant business report, the chain has closed more than 20% of its locations in the past 3 years due to being unprofitable. Still, rising food and labor costs have made things even worse for franchise owners unable to stay afloat. To try to lure in younger eaters, TGI Fridays started adding social media-friendly rainbow cocktails and over-the-top desserts. However, these efforts received a less than warm reception, and many customers described the iconic suburb locations as outdated and uninspiring. Yelp and TripAdvisor and other such platforms. The loss of the brand's once iconic flair and festive atmosphere certainly winds longtime fans as well. Growing is becoming more difficult for TGI Fridays and financial pressures are mounting. But unless things change, the brand could issue its last thank goodness by as soon as 2025, putting an end to an era of casual dining. 8. IHOP. However familiar IHOP or the International House of Pancake might be for decades, it has been the go-to spot for breakfast delivery. But there is nothing sunny side up about the chain's outlook. As a result of many people choosing cheaper, grab-and-go breakfast options like McDonald's and Starbucks, Restaurant Dive pointed out a report saying that IHOP sales have been falling. As essential ingredients such as eggs, milk, and flour have become more expensive, IHOP has passed this on to customers through higher menu prices, scaring away numerous budget-conscious families. The report said many franchisees reported financial losses and some shut down, rather than invest in the costly renovations regularly ordered by the corporate office. Overlaying the struggles, IHOP's infamous IHOB marketing stunt, turning the brand to a burger destination, pushed aside its breakfast loyalists and never cajoled the new crowds to the fold. Besides, IHOP has disproportionately relied on dine-in customers over takeout or delivery buyers, which is losing it in a world that is becoming more and more about convenience. As the Blue Roof restaurants are shuttered at dozens of underperforming locations in 2024 and more closures are expected for 2025, IHOP's once iconic restaurants may become a relic in the history of casual dining. 6. Checkers and Rallies. But the seasoned fries and drive-through focused model of Checkers and Rallies is facing a perfect storm of financial and operating headwinds that threatens their survival. The dual-branded burger chain was seemingly solidly positioned to take advantage of a post-pandemic world with its focus on fast food and takeout. However, reality has given a very different outcome. Supply chain disruptions have hit the chain hard, with ingredient shortages causing delays and menu changes in order to frustrate its loyal customers, according to QSR magazine. But Checkers and Rallies is also facing competition from fast food giants like McDonald's and Wendy's, who can outspend them where it counts the most in marketing and who have more advanced technology. Efforts to modernize, such as introducing AI-based drive-through systems, have had little impact against declining customer satisfaction. They are still rife with long wait times and inconsistent food quality. These issues are also affecting franchisees, as 10% of locations were shut down in 2024 alone. Without a bold turnaround strategy, Checkers and Rallies will soon join other fast food names consigned to fast food history, and their fans will still try to recall seasoned fries and fond memories of the last meal they remember. 5. Outback Steakhouse. From its bloomin' onion to its Australian-inspired menu with hearty comfort food, Outback Steakhouse has a rough road ahead. Dining habits are changing, and many consumers are going for the faster, more affordable option, rather than the old sit-down experience. Taken together with a surge in beef prices that have climbed by more than 30% over the past 2 years, the former is tearing apart Outback's margins and leading to major menu price increases. A restaurant business report found that franchise operators increasingly fed up with corporate leadership, which franchisees say is out of touch with the economic realities of the day. Despite attempts to modernize, from a digital component to greater emphasis on takeout and delivery, efforts haven't appeared to resonate with younger diners, while the company's core customer base has further dwindled. And Outback's parent, Bloomin' Brands, said in late 2024 that it would close nearly 50 underperforming locations in an effort to end its losses. But industry analysts warn that those closures may not be enough to turn the brand's fortunes around. Given struggling steak-focused casual dining firms are being squeezed ever tighter, Outback will need a massive overhaul if it is to escape the same fate as so many others and fall victim to the shifting winds of consumer sentiment and a fragile economy in 2025. 4. Sparrow. For years, Sparrow was living on life support, once a food court staple, selling those oversized pizza slices and simple Italian fare. But 2024 may have been the straw that broke the camel's back. Operating primarily in traditional shopping malls, the chain has fought to remain relevant as the concept of the shopping mall dies. Mall foot traffic has dropped nearly 40% from 2020 alone, making for an achingly small customer base for so many Sparrow locations, Retail Dive reported. That's on top of the fact that competitors like Domino's and Papa John's have the delivery market locked up, and fast casual pizza chains like MOD Pizza and boutique pizza places have dominated the dine-in space. In recent years, Sparrow has tried to reinvent itself by opening freestanding units in urban areas and smaller malls. But those attempts have been mixed, with many of the simpler new units underperforming and hemorrhaging money. High costs of bases like cheese and wheat have made it increasingly difficult for the chain, struggling to keep prices affordable to keep up with these customers as they drift to more affordable options. Sparrow is in an uphill battle to stay viable, with so many franchises shutting and dozens of locations closing in 2024. If the brand cannot radically change course to carve out a new audience for Sparrow, it will likely join the countless other American fast food forerunners faded to ancient memory by 2025. 3. Ruby Tuesday. One chain stuck in deepest trouble. Ruby Tuesday, one of the biggest players in the casual dining sector, is still on the rocks as it tries to find its way out of the muck. The chain closed more than 600 locations over the past decade and has kept just over 200 restaurants open as of late 2024. Nation's Restaurant News reports that Ruby Tuesday has yet to recover from a 2021 bankruptcy filing, and the lingering effects of the pandemic have simply compounded its financial troubles. Franchisees are living on the ragged edge of profitability, and many can't afford to make lease payments or pay for upgrades to achieve corporate standards. But attempts to revitalize the brand, from revamping the menu to selling meal kits for home delivery, have failed mostly to rekindle customer interest. But over the past few years, with fast casual competitors like Panera Bread and Sweet Green rising to the occasion, Ruby Tuesday's menu feels outdated to the younger diner. Inflation has also slammed the chain that caters to a middle-class customer base and tightened budgets to the point where eating out seems like a luxury that shouldn't be splurged upon. Industry analysts are predicting the end of an era for the Ruby Tuesday chain, as many analysts think it will vanish entirely by 2025, leaving a rapidly shrinking footprint and waning consumer loyalty. 2. Chuck E. Cheese. If the era of the Chuck E. Cheese restaurant is ending, it's going out in style. The chain, however, survived a 2020 bankruptcy, but has struggled to get its financial house back in order. Chuck E. Cheese's parent company, CEC Entertainment, announced a whopping $2 billion debt in 2024 due to a rise in operating costs and a decrease in foot traffic, according to Bloomberg. The business model itself, arcade games and family dining, is no longer appealing in this digital-first world. And with kids now preferring to stay home and play video games and stream content, Chuck E. Cheese has struggled to attract new users. From these challenges, the pandemic only made them worse. And while the brand has introduced delivery services and frozen pizza products in grocery stores, the efforts haven't been enough to help boost declining revenues. Adding to its troubles, the chain has also been hit with a lot of flack for poor location maintenance, archaic equipment, filthy conditions, and just terrible food. In addition, in 2024, CEC Entertainment was also hit with a class action lawsuit for unfair labor practices, yet another blow to the entertainment giant's reputation. Its customers have been waning, leaving it hobbled with debt, and Chuck E. Cheese will struggle to survive much beyond 2025. A large number of analysts believe the iconic mascot may soon hang up the cleats for good, leaving behind just memories of simpler times for millions of millennials and Gen Z. 1. Hard Rock Cafe. Once a global phenomenon which thrived off rock and roll memorabilia and as a destination for themed dining, Hard Rock Cafe has found its spark fading in a crowded and oversaturated international market. Forbes said the chain has been hit with hefty financial losses over the years, quietly closing shops across North America, Europe, and Asia. The fact that the brand still sees some tourist interest is mainly due to the fading joy of its uniqueness. Millennials and Gen Z consumers aren't as willing to pay premium prices for mediocre food and dusty collections of autographed guitars and memorabilia. Hard Rock Cafe was hit hard by the pandemic, with many of its locations empty as countries locked down when international tourism was no longer an option. But the chain continues to trail competitors in the recovery, with average check sizes trailing industry norms. And operating costs have skyrocketed on flagship locations in prime real estate markets like New York, Las Vegas, and London, making profitability all but impossible. According to a 2024 restaurant business report, Hard Rock's franchisee fees have been raised exorbitantly, and declining customer traffic is their biggest challenge, leading many Hard Rock franchisees close to bankruptcy. From introducing locally inspired cuisines to hosting live-streamed concerts, the efforts have met with a lukewarm reception. According to analysts, without a significant reworking of its brand and business model, Hard Rock Cafe will see mass closures as early as 2025. It could be the ending of a cultural mainstay that rose to prominence as one of food and entertainment's first point of fusion. 3. Pizza Hut. The all-you-can-eat buffets and sit-down restaurants that Pizza Hut became synonymous with the 1990s is fighting to stay afloat. A mainstay of family outings, the chain has struggled to keep up with gains made by faster, more modern rivals such as Domino's and Papa John's, which have courted newer customers by deploying delivery efficiencies and digital innovation. Pizza Hut's sales fell nearly 12% year over year in 2024, and more 400 U.S. locations have closed in the last 18 months, according to QSR Magazine. One of Pizza Hut's main reasons for declines is its old path of business. Once a hallmark of its success, the dine-in focus of the chain is a liability in a time where takeout and delivery reigns supreme. Pizza Hut has failed to pivot to delivery in a meaningful way, and these efforts have been very slow to come and don't seem sufficient even now. Crisscrossed by a lattice of intersecting incandescent tubes, the ceiling cast a warm yellow glow over the tables, where diners sat and laughed beneath the cups extending from the overhead monstrosity. But while the Kelto area offered warm, fuzzy connections to its past via technology, the surrounding chain offered no customers a connective tissue outside of its own name. Rising costs for cheese and wheat along with labor, but the company has also been hit with a string of quality control issues. But Pizza Hut has had its reputation tarnished by reports of undercooked pizzas, delivery delays, and more. Razor-thin profit margins and increasing operational costs are causing franchisees to walk away from locations at an alarming rate. An internal memo leaked to the public last year showed that Pizza Hut's corporate executives were considering strategic alternatives, a phrase typically used to indicate a sale or dismantling of the company. Unless the chain can innovate its brand, its operations, and its menu, its experts predict 2025 will spell the end of one of America's most beloved pizza chains. Once legendary for its red-roofed restaurants and iconic filled crust pizzas, it's the stuff of nostalgia.